Hello, my friends. Hello, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Anele Tembe. Anele Tembe. Anele Tembe. Anele Tembe. Okay, that's the story. That's the name. The AKA murder case has taken a big twist, but this is not a strange twist. People already suspected that it would go this way. All right. It's still pointing towards Anele Tembe, the death of Anele Tembe. Who was Anele Tembe? Anele Tembe was the girlfriend to AKA. Was the girlfriend to AKA. So Anele Tembe died in 2021 in Cape Town. AKA, they were together with AKA, but his statement was that Anele Tembe fell from a hotel building, floor number 10, to the ground, and she died there. But before she died, she made she made a phone call to her parents or to her relatives, one of maybe some relatives, where she expressed that where she spoke about her condition, that she was like they were quarreling or fighting or something like that, in the relationships. There were fights with AKA. So she had complained of abusive relationship with AKA during that time. Okay. So AKA was double faced, was showing like a lover man, Dr. Love, okay, was showing like a lovely boyfriend, okay, to Anele Tembe in public. But when they are together, he was abusive person to Anele Tembe, okay, because there were records of Anele Tembe complaining of abusive relationship with AKA during that time. There is also a photo of AKA breaking a door to Anele Tembe's room. It looks like Anele Tembe locked herself in a certain room, and AKA broke that door. And there is a photo. Okay, I'll show you that photo. You can see this photo. Shows that AKA broke it to her room, and she took that photo and sent it to people. So, but you can argue that those are common, common things in a relationship, okay? Minor fights. There are always fights in a relationships. But when she died, the National Prosecution Authority, okay, was requested to investigate, okay? And since AKA had said Anele Tembe committed suicide, it was a suicide event when she fell from that tall building. It turned out that when the investigators and forensic investigators did their job, they found out some clues that it was not suicide, but it was murder. They suspected that they suspected a case of murder. Okay, but this murder was not pointed to AKA. It was just suspected murder. Something happened, but she was killed, or she was pushed, or she was murdered, she was killed. So they were still investigating that case. So there were two versions, okay, where the boyfriend, AKA, was claiming that Anele Tembe committed suicide by throwing herself from the tall building, floor number 10, to the ground in Cape Town. While AKA, while the investigators had said they had found clues that Anele Tembe was murdered, okay, was pushed from the tall building to fall to the ground. Looking at the posture and many other things, other clues, they found that it pointed to a murder case. So there were investigations at the time. AKA was murdered in Cape Town on 10 February 2023. Actually, the prosecution authority was finalizing some paperwork, okay, to call AKA for formal interrogation about the death of his girlfriend, Anele Tembe. Let's stop there first. Let's go to the families now. So when you go to the families, Anele Tembe was the daughter to Ntembe Senior, all right? The one who is being mentioned a lot on AKA death. So she, Ntembe Senior, is the one who raised Gcaba brothers, the rich Gcaba brothers, the most influential Gcaba brothers, the kings of taxi industries in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. So basically, what you can say is that Anele Tembe and Gcaba brothers were kind of brothers. Okay, so I can say Anele Tembe was a sister to the Gcaba brothers. Okay, so AKA was dating Anele Tembe, and Anele Tembe died in his hands in controversial circumstances pointing to murder. All right. So AKA was killed or shot dead in KwaZulu-Natal. Now the case is pointing to Gcaba brothers. So you can see that this is now a case of revenge. Even if you take out the senior Tembe, okay, Anele Tembe's father, that he did not order the death of AKA, you will still have a clue that if these were brothers to this lady, to this girl, okay, this is easy for them to organize the hit, okay, because you talk about how much they spent, 800,000. These people, they say they make at least 1 million rand a day in Texas. These are super rich, and they were connected to politicians. They are very, very connected to politicians, almost all politicians in KwaZulu-Natal and all over, because they also happen to be related to former President Jacob Zuma, because their mother is a sister or was a sister to President Jacob Zuma. So you can see the relations, they are so influential, but also they have been connected to so many atrocious, heinous crimes in KwaZulu-Natal connected to their control of the taxi industry. So they are very, very cruel when it comes to revenge. Okay, it has come to the notice that they are very cruel when it comes to revenge. So many people in KwaZulu-Natal, they are not even surprised that they are connected to this, because court records have shown that a company belonging to Sidine Funda Gcaba is the one that sent money, about 800,000, to accused number four, Gwebani. No, Gwabeni, Gwabeni. These are Zulu names. Gwabeni, okay, the one owning security companies, construction companies, and mines. Gwabeni is the one who distributed the money to. First, he sent the money to accused number one, okay, Mieza, who organized the cars and the guns and all that for the assassination of aka. So Mieza distributed the money to, to the killers now. The shooter number one, Spotter, that's accused number two. Spotter accused number three. Spotter accused number five. And the shooters, the two guys who are in Swaziland, are waiting for extradition to South Africa to answer their cases. So the connection, now the case is coming clear that this should really be about revenge on Anele Tembe's death. But still, it's going to be now it's going to be very tough for defense, for the state, because if this is a case of revenge, okay, we are looking at getting justice for AKA. What about justice for Anele Tembe? So this is the problem now, because okay, like what Anele Tembe's father said, that he is still waiting, okay, for justice of his daughter, the death of his daughter. So Anele Tembe deserves to get justice. So what about, okay, AKA deserves to get justice, all right? As it has already started. The arrests have started already. But what about Anele Tembe? Okay, so this is very interesting. These two cases were supposed to run simultaneously, but now the accused person in the Anele Tembe death was AKA, who already died. And now we're talking about the case of death, murder case for the death of AKA. So it's very complicated. We don't know how the state can try to isolate these two things, because it's now clear that it was a case of revenge. Thank you so much.